Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Freeze Friday. So let's see what I got done this week a little bit, what I want to get done for next week, and how I'm feeling after a month and a half of my spending freeze. And before I forget, both Christy and Shannon are now also doing Freeze Friday videos, so don't forget to go over and see what they got up to this week and what they want to get done next week. So last week we were talking about the art crayons and the watercolor markers and how I felt a little intimidated by them and how I really needed to start using them a little bit. So I did. I did start using them this week, a little bit mild. I didn't get carried away. So there's still a lot of room to be playing and getting some stuff done with these. But so far, I'm fairly happy with what I've done. Well, maybe. We'll see in a minute. Anyway, if you saw on my TM Tuesday, I finished a full insert, and it was really getting a little bit chunky. So in the back here, where I wanted to just do a lot of journaling, I got the art crayons out. I hope it's not too shadowy. It is such a cloudy day. Yesterday it just poured and poured and poured. It was so dark, and today is not much better. But if I don't record this, it won't be Freeze Friday anymore. It'll be Slushy Saturday or something like that. So we're doing it anyway, and I apologize. I hope you can see. So I did use the art crayons, and not a rainbow, but a partial rainbow, I guess. I went from sort of the peachy pinks into the pink, the fuchsia, the purple, and some of the lovely blues. I do love the feel. They work really, really well. I just put on a little bit of plastic, then used some water, put it down, and then I just used some watered down acrylic paint to do some splattering. And I sort of love that effect. So the art crayons for backgrounds are lovely. Now what I want to try this week with the art crayons is using them dry through a stencil. So that will be what we do this week. Then the watercolor markers. They are beautiful. They are vibrant, highly pigmented. For me, they need some getting used to. So I did play a little bit with them. Now, let me start with this first thing that I have no idea what I'm going to do with. I had this idea in my head, people. This was not the idea in my head. Anyway, this is what it is. My first idea, well, first of all, I wanted to use the iridescent glaze as well, which I did with the watercolor markers, which I also did. I used 4 colors here, sort of this lovely salmon-y pink, I think, what's it called here? Coral macaroon. I also used cotton candy, and then I used the mint julep and Hawaiian blue. So I did 4 little areas of the iridescent glaze, put just a drop in there. My first idea was to use a paintbrush and do sort of like a geometric pattern, and in hindsight, I think I probably should have stuck to that. I think it would have been a lot better. Anyway, so I was mixing it with the spatula. My spatula sort of fell a little bit, and it fell on the paper, and then I just smushed it a bit, and I thought, oh, well, that sort of looks a little bit like sort of stucco or some of those old-fashioned ceilings or walls. So why don't I see what I can do with that? And now, it spreads beautifully. It really, in the iridescent glaze, it's highly pigmented. 1 little drop, 2 little drops. is really all you need. It mixes well, it goes on well, and I don't know if you can see, there is the sheen, although the sheen is maybe a little bit less. It's a little less iridescent once I've put the watercolor markers in it. So anyway, so I did this, and then my first thought was, okay, well, I'll cut this down a little bit. I'll use some tissue paper and vellum, put a photo here, back it, a fairly wide frame on a lovely paper, then maybe just put a title, and there I have a layout. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. I really don't know. I'm looking at this and I don't know. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I should just punch out some shapes and make some little homemade embellishments. So I'm not calling this experiment a fail. I'm certainly not calling it a win. I'll do something with it. Not quite sure yet what. Tune in maybe next week and we'll find out what I did. Give me some ideas if you have any. Then I just also took the foundations paper, cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4, so I'll be able to use these on cards, and just did some washes. Now, the way I applied this is I wet my paper and then on a plastic sheet, put a drop or so of the watercolor markers and then just dropped, sort of a drop here and a drop there. Now this one, I used these 4 colors. So I went from the coral and then into the coral into the cotton candy, sugared strawberry, and plum pudding. And this one, what I did is I wet, and then just dropped a drop and let it do its thing. And I kind of really like this background. And then I just went with a Paige Evans stencil. And there you go, if you can see that maybe a little bit closer. And put it through the Paige Evans star stencil. I did do the stenciling once this background was completely dry, but some of the color does come into the iridescent glaze. So I kind of like that. So I don't know, I think here I'll just put like a nice big sentiment. And then these two were not mixing as well. I really just took some sort of leftovers that were on there, and this I used with a brush. So just a very nice light wash. I think I might cut down a little bit more, put a stamped image here that I've colored and use that on a card. This one, I also had to use the brush to help it a little bit, so the gradient of color is not showing through quite as much. So I do need to do a little bit more practicing. But all in all, I do love these products, and I am sure I will get better. This is used a lot for the packaging technique, so I'll probably do a little bit more of that. Then the other thing I wanted to talk about this week is what I've decided to do. It was my birthday last week on the 8th of October, and I was debating with giving myself a pass for my birthday month, as I have done before, and allowing myself a little spending in my birthday month. And then I decided, no, it's too close to when we started. I'm actually really enjoying this freeze. So I decided that I would not. I did get some birthday money, but I did not buy anything with it. And then in talking with my friends, what I decided to do is, in Canada, our $1 and $2 are coins. A loonie, we call these loonies for $1 and toonies for $2. And what I've decided to do for the duration of the freeze is put my loonies and toonies in this jar, and at the end of the freeze, so at the end of August 2020, this will be my budget. I'm saving. I would like to maybe upgrade from my Cuttlebug to a Big Shot. So that could be something that I might be able to get with what I've put there, which would be a little bit of a bigger purchase. I need to save up for a computer, although I don't think I would want to use this for a computer, but I do know that within about a year or so, my computer will need replacing. Eventually, I want to also get a DSLR. So anyway, I don't know what this will be for, but certainly if I can get enough in here for a big shot, that will be what we buy. So I will be putting my loonies and toonies in this jar for the entire duration of the freeze. And I think that's going to be quite encouraging to see the loonies and toonies pile up. The other thing I wanted to look at is how I'm doing on that very, very first kit that I put together with you all in probably my first Freeze Friday. And I am doing awesome, I think. So I got 4 layouts done. You have seen 3 of them. There is a 4th one, the 4th one, which will be coming up on the last Wednesday of October. It's my Off the Board with Pineapple Papers project. 4 layouts and 1 Traveler's Notebook insert. This is one of my TN Tuesdays. So basically with the paper, the 12 by 12 paper, this is all that I have left. I really put this in here for this side, and I've used it on a couple of layouts. So this is really all of the paper that I have left, except for the 6 by 6, where I still do have some left, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But I think I could get maybe 1 more layout out of this. I used most of this sticker sheet. This is not usable. As I've mentioned before, it's all stuck, but I sort of have 1 sticker left. I do have a lot of the alpha left. So I'll be trying to use that up on a layout. I got a few of these stickers used as well. A few of these, not as much, so let's see if I can work a little bit more on this. I did use this sort of Scrabble. You'll see this on my Off the Board project, and I did get a few of these stickers used up. Didn't really get any of the chipboard used, so I'll need to work on that. But basically, 4 layouts, quite a bit of this used up, so I'm going to try and get 1 or 2 more layouts, and then this will be going into that giveaway bag. And then the last thing I really want to talk about this week is 6 by 6 papers, because Liz in the Freeze Gang, she put an album up because we were talking about using our 6 by 6. And if you recall in my very, very first, my introductory video to this whole Stash Dive spending freeze for the year, I showed how I had my 6 by 6 paper pads stored, and I had 2 big containers, and I wanted to get that down to 1. Liz decided to store hers pretty much the same way and reduce hers by half as well. So we've created an album in our Facebook group to get those 6 by 6 papers used up. So in that first kit, I put my Bow Buddy Weekend Market collection. I've used quite a bit of it. I'm going to keep using it as I continue finishing off with this kit. Then whatever is left over at the end of November in here will go in the giveaway. I added this to the mini kits that I put together for Scrapathon 4. And you will see a layout on Sunday that I got done for Scrapathon 4 and using these mini kits. So I've added this, which is very old, from Dear Lizzie Daydreamer. Still have quite a bit of that to use. And then this morning I went in, and I used to, many years ago, for about a year, I subscribed to the Simon Says Stamps card kit. And I got a lot of partial 6 by 6 paper pads, loose 6 by 6 sheets. And then I have a bunch here that I think might have been from maybe a Stampin' Up! Loose, because these are all multiple, so it must have been something like that. And they do look like Stampin' Up! Colors, and they were all loose. So I just took this pile of all of the loose 6 by 6 papers that I have, and these are for cards, for backgrounds, and I'm going to try and get these used up. Janet from RTS is starting a 6 by 6 paper pad series, so I might try and play along a little bit with that. But we are going to play with 6 by 6 paper pads. So there you go. That's my report for this week. I don't know. A C, maybe? maybe a little bit more. I did get a few layouts done that you'll be seeing on my channel, so maybe a B. So there you go. That's what I got up to this week. This is what I'll be getting up to next week. Pop on over to Christy and Shannon's channels and tell me how you're doing if you're participating with us virtually, or if you're in our group, tell me how you're doing with your freeze. And again, if there's anything you'd like to see, in November, I will be playing with some dry chalks because Josephine, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, please correct me, mentioned in one of her comments that she had a lot of that in her stash and has not been using them. So let's see if we can dig those back out and play along with them. If there is anything else you would like to see me dig out of my stash, please just pop me a comment below. See you next week. Thanks for being here. Bye.